Hey, are you here? Welcome to the Paul Leslie Hour. Yes, this is episode number 1091, featuring a personal interview with Mr. J. Payleitner about his book, Happy Semi-Quincentennial America, 250 Reasons Why America is Still Worth Celebrating. So if you're enjoying the show, and of course you are, would you consider buying Paul a coffee? Just visit www.buymeacoffee.com/ThePaulLeslie and show your support with a cup of joe. And now, without further ado, let's get this very patriotic episode underway.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am on with the never-boring, possibly life-changing J. Payleitner. He is the author of this book right here, Happy Semi-Quincentennial America, 250 Reasons Why America is Still Worth Celebrating, which you can see here. And those of you who know me very well, they know that I actually write this word, semi-quincentennial, every single day, no matter what. So with that, Jay, thank you for writing this book, and thank you for making time to talk to me today.
Well, Paul, thank you. Oh, I got to ask. I was very hesitant about naming the book Happy Semi-Quincentennial America because that's an 18-letter word. First off, it's a long word. People can't pronounce it. And I could have said could be called Happy 250th Birthday America. But anytime you can put an 18-letter word on the cover of a book, that makes people scratch their head, and it's the perfect word. But I got to ask, Paul, why would you write that 18-letter word every day?
Yeah, that's a great question. So every single day on my X account, formerly known as Twitter, I count down how many days away we are every single day, no matter what. I will put, like today, I think we're at 267 as of this taping.
Oh.
This episode's gonna drop 250 days before America 250, the semi-quincentennial. So I write it down. I'm counting down every single day. I've been counting things since I was a kid.
So you talk about July 4th of 2026, but
right.
In my mind, the semi-quincentennial year, we're going to celebrate that whole year. I'm thinking, well, my book, again, is it going to sell more like for Christmas 2025 as people get ready for the year? Or is it, and I call it, I jokingly call it the only souvenir that you need from the semi-quincentennial. But let's get into it.
Absolutely.
Let's start celebrating. Let's party like it's 1776.
Exactly. Well, semi-quincentennial, it's all year long, and I think it's going to be needless to say, a historic time. And you're right. This book is so good. I'm not exaggerating. I stayed up until about 3 o'clock in the morning reading different entries. It's so entertaining. And what was that exact moment? When did the light bulb go off and you thought to yourself, Jay is writing another book and it's going to be about this?
Yeah, I've written 40-some books, and I approach problems and challenges like, okay, how can I write about this? That's part of my DNA. But, okay, so do you remember, you're a punk, I'm older than you, but many of your listeners may remember the bicentennial, 1976, and I was in high school, and the government had a train called the Freedom Train, and it went across the country, and supposedly it went to places within an hour's drive of 90% of the American population. And on it were things like a copy of the Constitution, a moon rock, Ted Williams' baseball bat, Lincoln's rocking chair, the first working light bulb by Thomas Edison, and my favorite was Robert Redford's suit from The Sting. That was one of my favorite movies, and Robert Redford's suit. So I'm on this train with my girlfriend, Rita, who I eventually married. We've been married over 40 years now. And I left there going, wow, America's pretty awesome. We do cool stuff. We stand for things. We have these freedoms. It's awesome to be an American. And so fast forward almost 50 years then, and I realized that we're coming up to America's 250th birthday, and I'm going, we'll all have the same feeling. Well, we don't right now. We don't, in general, we don't have that feeling of America's awesome place to be, and we have so many opportunities and freedoms here. So I kind of wanted, in the back of my head, and it pushed to the forward because I write books, what if I wrote a book that had the same feeling as the Freedom Train from 50 years earlier? And that's what this book is. It's a little snarky. It's a little fun. It covers a lot of ground, and that's where the idea came from. And it was fun to do. It's worth mentioning. It's my first book with photos. I've been writing all these books, that how-to books and connecting families and for dads and how to live life right. But this is my first book. I got to choose almost 100 photos, and that was a blast too, that represent America. And again, always a little snarky. And you're right, Paul. Thank you for saying it's entertaining. It's
very.
You might say it's part history, part geography, part travelogue, part trivia book, a how-to manual. It's an owner's manual for America, especially as we head into our Semi-Quincentennial.
Get used to saying that. Well, it really does. It manages to just capture so many things from the very, very beginning of the book. You're sitting there and you're reading it. And the number one is, to me, it's so perfect. When I opened the book for the first time, number one is road trip. And I was like, man, this guy, he nailed it. And then Route 66 is the second one. Yeah. You really are capturing it. Greasy spoons. It's just quintessentially American.
Well, I figured job one was to give Americans a new appreciation for the size and scope and the freedoms and the diversity of America. And you get that on a road trip. The U.S., and again, I sprinkle facts in here. Well, it's not just my opinion. The U.S. is 47 times larger geographically than Great Britain. That blows the mind of Europeans coming over. It's like, what? How big is this country? We've had people pull into New York and say, well, I'm going to do Manhattan, then I'm going to go do the Grand Canyon, then I'm going to go do the Redwood Forest. It's like, no, we're too big. You can't do that in 1 week, the kind of thing. But so, yeah, people and places and resources and animals and plants and landscape and mountains and prairies and oceans white with foam and road trip games and scenic drives, traveling the highways and byways. That's how you meet the real people of America. So get out of your comfort zone, folks, and go do that. Would be one of the takeaways for the book and for all of us. Get out of our comfort zone and meet a real America.
Absolutely. Correct me if I'm wrong. You are joining us from the land of Lincoln.
The land of Lincoln. That's right. Yes. And don't get me started on what's going on in Chicago or with J.B. Pritzker. I'm in the western suburbs of Chicago, and right smack in the middle of the Midwest. Yeah.
And Illinois, a lot of people, they hear Illinois and they just think of Chicago. Oh. I was just there, I think maybe a year or two ago. And my goodness, there is such beautiful countryside in Illinois.
Thank you, but I'm going to give a nod to all the other 49 states, too. We all have little corners and prairies and mountains. What a great country. It sounds like a cliche, but what a great country. So, yeah, I won't leave Illinois because I married my high school sweetheart, as I said, and we live in this beautiful town. My wife, just a nod to her, she was a stay-at-home mom. We raised our 5 kids, and they all turned out great. And then when our youngest went off to West Point, which is a point of pride to me, our daughter went off to West Point, Rita ran for city council, and she was an alderman for 12 years. So folks, listen, America has a land of opportunity. If you don't like the season you're in, keep hustling, and the next season is out there. And again, that's what I wanted to inspire in the book, is the idea that the land of opportunity, folks.
Absolutely. Now, when I say that that first section, road trip. I'm just curious. This pops into my head. When you hear that road trip, undoubtedly you think of a certain road trip that you probably took. Was it a good experience or a bad experience? Because usually road trips are one or the other.
Are you asking me for my road trip?
Yeah, from your own life.
Well, you know what? Road trip with the 7 of us in a car. We went to, this is not in the book, but I'll tell you the story anyways. Well, we did the Washington, D.C. thing. And I had a 15-year-old and I had a 3-year-old in the car because that's the span of my 5 kids. And I had a plan to go get in line to leave the hotel where my family was staying and go get in line to get tickets for the tour of the White House. That'd be fantastic. Got down there to that booth and the White House was closed that day. So I ran over to the FBI kind of museum and I thought, well, I'll stand in line there. And so then I'm calling my wife and said, okay, I'm in line and we got to get the kids down here because the tickets start at 9:00, whatever the time was. And as the story goes, they got their kids out and got down the Washington Underground and got up, and my wife and my 15-year-old are dragging the 3-year-old, drag along to hustle up because they got to get there because the gates are going to open. And my 3-year-old stopped, threw their hands down and said, "What's a vacation again?" And that's the same girl that 15 years later went to West Point, of course. That's the same little girl. So there you go. When you go to Washington, the takeaway would be when you go to Washington, and the book does honor the Washington, D.C. area as one of the 250 reasons to still celebrate America. Give yourself plenty of time. Don't think you can see everything because you can't, but pick a few things and go see it. And if you've got a 3-year-old with you, just give them a break. Sit and have a Coke and sit in the mall someplace. And when you get to a location, give yourself plenty of time to enjoy it. I don't know. Was that a takeaway? Is that a takeaway for your listeners, Paul? Is that a story your listeners needed to hear?
I think so. And there's a lesson there. Yes, go and do all these things, but also approach it with a certain American laid backness. And we always accept being such a big land, we have beautiful things. We also have natural disasters. We come to expect them, and we just keep right on trucking. So yes, good story. Now, what is the most surprising thing? I find that writing is a way that we can learn so much. We learn by putting pen to paper or by typing. Was there anything you learned from writing the Happy Semi-Quincentennial America book that you thought, now this, my research uncovered and I did not know?
A good question. Let me think about that. I believe in American ingenuity. I think that's a gift that God has given us, mostly because we have freedoms and we have resources and we have opportunity and we have this system of patents and inventions that you can be rewarded for that. So that whole idea of American ingenuity was maybe some of the first chapters I wrote. And as you dig into that and do some research, the American inventor is an amazing creature. And there are people right now, maybe listening to this broadcast, watching this broadcast, who have ideas. To go for it, man. But it might be tinkering in the garage, or it might be something that you discover by accident. Paul, did you know that all of these things were invented by accident, by happy accidents, serendipitous discovery? Post-it notes, and maybe you've heard some of these stories. Post-it notes was invented by accident. Potato chips, microwave ovens, popsicles, chocolate chip cookies were all invented by people and Masonite were all invented by people who saw something and go, wow, that's something that could be this. So that was one of the joyful serendipitous discoveries on my part. And again, the American dream, following the American dream. Some of these folks got rich, some didn't, and that's all part of the deal too.
So we have this ingenuity. We work hard to make certain things happen, but also here in America, we just stumble on things.
One of my favorite, this is not a stumble because he thought about it, and I tell all these stories in the book. That out of the 250 reasons, these are some of the reasons. But guy was tired of clipping his grass edging his grass, and he was in a car wash, and he saw these spinning rags smacking his car, and he thought, wow, I could do that. And he attached a tuna fish can with some strings on it, to some whirling device, and he invented the weed whacker. And as we know it today, that's still what it is. It's a tuna fish can with strings coming out of it. And again, American ingenuity. He saw a need. We can all do that. You see a need, and you see something else that, oh, maybe that applies to this need. I just applaud that so much. And again, the American spirit.
America is so spacious with so many beautiful places. I mean, it's you could go on listing certain things. I mean, it makes me think of America the Beautiful, the song. What is the most majestic place in America that you have witnessed with your own eyes?
Wow, that's a really good question. Well, I went up and saw Mount St. Helens with a couple of my boys. Went down to see Key West with my wife. Totally different, thousands and thousands of miles away. Been to the Washington Mall, driven through the mountains outside Denver. My mind goes to Wrigley Field. If you ever have a chance to go to Wrigley, you walk up there and you see the ivy. Beautiful place, it's stunning, great. Cub fan for life, and memories of going there with my dad, kind of thing. But I'm going to jump off that and say, any baseball park. If you fly over, you get a window seat, you fly down, you look at, all kinds of things. When I fly over a baseball park, even if there's nobody there, it's like the potential and the love and the passion. My 4 boys all played baseball. My daughter played softball. As I said, she went to West Point. She hit the home run. My daughter Rayanne hit the home run that sent the West Point Black Knights to the NCAA tournament. I was there. Never forget it, but a beautiful thing. I hope I'm not overstating that, but baseball parks are just full of potential and full of dads being jerks in the stand. Also, but I beg you dads to take a step back from that. But the point made. So there you go. That's my. What was the question?
Just the most beautiful place you've seen, and what a unique answer.
Any baseball park in the country where kids are gonna learn how to win and how to fail and how to strike out and how to be good teammates and how to listen to their coach. All right, enough of that. Thank you, Paul. That's a great question. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Now, there are many songs that address the subject of America. There's one, it's called The House I Live In. And Frank Sinatra recorded it.
Yes.
And also, Frank, you just made me think of Frank Sinatra, one of the best songs of a fading America, and that is There Used to Be a Ballpark.
I don't know that song. Hum a few bars. Sing a stanza for me there, Paul. If you can legally.
Well, I'll just say that it's sad. It's a sad song, and I'll say this. It paints this picture of there used to be a ballpark right here, and you can still smell the beer, you can still hear the crowds, and it'll bring a tear to your eye. I'm telling you, Jay, it's beautiful. But the song, The House I Live In, the singer asks again and again this question, what is America to me? And so I will ask you, Jay, what is America to you?
I think I've already kind of touched on this a little bit, that I did the freedoms we have. And it's certainly in the original founding documents, the life, liberty, huge, and the pursuit of happiness. Doesn't guarantee happiness. Isn't it amazing? It doesn't guarantee, but it allows us the freedom to pursue happiness. Thomas Jefferson, brilliant. And then the first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights, freedom of speech and religion, and freedom to assemble. The right to bear arms, the right to due process, the freedom. I don't remember all of them, but the freedom from cruel and unusual punishment. That seems kind of reasonable, doesn't it? So, but those are the technical aspects of freedom that are guaranteed in our Constitution, and I don't see those changing anytime soon. God bless. But then the freedom to to live where you want to live, the freedom to invent, the freedom to get rewarded for your freedom to make mistakes and to come back from that, freedom and opportunity. It's all kind of woven there together. Again, thank you for asking that question.
Absolutely. Now, Jay, there are so many songs, as I said, that are about America. I will confess, I listened to Pete Seeger playing Yankee Doodle Dandy before we went on. What is your absolute favorite American song? And I know American song could make you think of songs written here because it's one of our greatest exports is our songs, but songs about America.
I might go to Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA, which is, people think that's all about how wonderful the USA is, and it is, the full subtext is, but it's about how, sometimes living in the USA, we got to work through some things. We've made mistakes, and I just want to emphasize that. The 250 reasons that we're still worth celebrating is because we've made mistakes, and we've learned from them. The Dust Bowl out in the I guess, California, wherever that was, that's how we learned to use smarter farming principles. What women had to go through to get the right to vote is one of the reasons why women are empowered today, and that's all a good thing. When the Cuyahoga River was on fire in Cleveland, back, I guess, in the 60s, that's how we learned to, we need to take better care of our property. So any song that doesn't say America is perfect, because we're not perfect. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Now, with that said, we do have a national anthem, and I think it's a pretty incredible song, and it makes an appearance here in Happy Semi-Quincentennial America. And I'm hoping you can tell us, just when I mentioned the national anthem to you, what do you think?
Well, yes, after the 249 reasons that include American ingenuity and American oratories and American taste buds and American flora and fauna. The last one, and this is also one of the reasons I wrote the book, because I didn't make this up, but I've thought about this since I first learned it and understood it. Star Spangled Banner. How many times have you sung that, Paul? How many times have you sung the Paul? 100 times? 1,000 times? I mean, yeah. Again,
lot.
I'm going to a ballpark and I'm thinking about that and I get choked up. And you haven't lived till you've seen the West Point team snap to a salute on the third baseline when they play the national anthem. I'm getting choked up about it. But here we go. Here's the point. And I ended the book with this. Most national anthems you would think would be, our country's great, our country never makes mistakes, we're awesome. But it doesn't do that at all. The national anthem, the first stanza of the Star Spangled Banner asks two questions. The first question is, of course, is can you see it in the morning here? Francis Scott Key in 1814 is looking out across the harbor and at the Fort McHenry that had been bombarded all night long, and he's asking the question, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? We saw it last night. The flag was there last night, and over the night we got a glimpse of it. Through the rocket's red glare and the bombs bursting, we could see that the flag was still there during the night. But it's morning now. Is it still there? Say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Okay, good question. And that was a question for that day, back in 1814. The second question is about today. Is that flag still visible? Is it still waving? Say, does that Star Spangled Banner, does it still wave? Does it still wave? More importantly, does it wave over a land that's free? And does it still wave over a land that's the home of the brave? Can we still be brave? That's mind-blowing. So I hope as you've heard that, had you heard that question before? Pretty good, huh? It's a pretty amazing thing to dig into that. Yeah, it's hard to sing. But next time you're in a ballpark, take your hat off. Think about the idea that you're asking two questions and make sure that we are still, do everything you can, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that we are still the land of the free and the home of the brave. What do you think?
Well, Jay Payleitner, I will think more about those questions the next time I hear that song, and I won't be surprised if a patriotic tear drops from my eye. And Jay, thank you so much for this incredible book. First of all, it's kind of funny because my coffee table, which talk about a quintessential American beverage, my coffee table actually perfectly complements this book. It's like the colors work so well. I know that's such a nerdy thing to say.
That's a weird-looking coffee table, Paul.
Well, it works. If you were here, and I would love to pour you a cup, you would see and you would say, yeah, it works. It's like a marble. It just works with this book. But the book is wonderful. I should stop raving about how pretty it is. But the pictures, everything, it makes me want to have a Chicago-style hot dog and watch a ball game, maybe listen to jazz. I'm just listing the most American things I could think of. Jazz, country music, baseball, hot dogs, hamburgers.
I'm going to tell you that I snuck in photos, just choosing photos, just about every page. But I included a photo because I wanted to honor the Alamo. But from today's perspective, that's number 38. And that's actually a photo of my wife and me on Segways doing a Segway tour through San Antonio. So there you go. I also included photos of my grandkids making sand castles and enjoying other things, enjoying watermelon and s'mores. So 100 photos. I snuck in 5 or 6 personal photos. I hope that's okay. I got a great pleasure out of doing that. So you will allow me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jay. Now, the publicist at Regnery, they said that you wanted to close the show with a performance, a musical performance.
A musical? Are you kidding me?
It would have been something.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but you feel free. Feel free to do a little tap dance. I can do spoons, and I could sing some Frank Sinatra if you like. I used to, back in college, I had one of my albums. Back when we had albums, they were gone after that. Then they came back, of course. I'd stand on the desk in my fraternity house, and we would sing with my fraternity brothers to Frank Sinatra, his live album recorded in New York City. So you brought that memory back, Frank Sinatra. There you go.
A great American singer, arguably the greatest of all time.
There you go. Thank you.
Well, Jay, thank you so much for doing this interview. I am honored to be the first one to interview you about this book.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody out there, if you're curious about what to get for Christmas or someone's birthday, if they love this country or maybe you want to make them love it more, this book is hard to argue with. If you finish this book, you're going to have 250 reasons to love America even more than you do.
You know what? And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't buy this book, the British win. You know that. Also, this is my last hard sell here. Yeah, it's a coffee table book. It's pretty big and sturdy and heavy, but it's not $40 or $80. It's $19.99. So, and go to Amazon or my website, jpayleitner.com, and you need a souvenir for the Semi-Quincentennial, and there it is.
Right. Folks, we are going to, God willing, we are going to live to see, January 1st, the Semi-Quincentennial begins.
Yeah, there you go. And let's get it right so that we can celebrate the Tricentennial together in 50 years. What do you think?
I'll be a really, really old guy, but...
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Hey. Thanks so much, Paul. What a privilege.
An honor for me. Thank you. And privilege.
God bless.
God bless.
We thank you and appreciate you dropping in for the Paul Leslie Hour today. You can help the Paul Leslie Hour in our mission to provide independent media content like this by visiting www.thepaulleslie.com/support. We truly thank you. This is your announcer speaking. Performance of The Entertainer intro song and Corina Corina outro song courtesy of John Primorano. Well, that's it for today. So until next time, be safe and be good.